Me Made May is now finished and I cannot believe that I actually managed to film every single day a reel and post it on the same day. Some days were later than others because I just forgot and remembered mid-afternoon to film, but I got them done nonetheless. I wanted to be able to wear one Me Made item every single day and try not to repeat any, and I managed for the most part. I think I only repeated once my pink Lander pants, but that was it. Me Made May this year has made me realize that I have a gap for a few trousers and some cardigans that I can use for layering depending on the 50 million seasons we have throughout one day here in the UK. Hi, my name is Bianca and welcome to Weekly Bee, where I talk to you about my slow handmade wardrobe. If you're into sewing and a little bit of knitting, you have come to the right place. June has now started and the Sew Blood Pressure 25 sewing challenge that I host over on Instagram has also now begun. I have mentioned this in previous videos of mine, so to not bore you even more today with that, I will link in the description box below a video that I speak about why I started the challenge and what my aim for the challenge is. So please check the description box below if you'd like to follow along and participate in the challenge. You have nothing to lose by participating in the challenge because you get to tick something off your list, you get to check up on your health, and you stand a chance of winning a prize. So definitely go and have a look. This week in my sewing room was all about a pattern test for the petite dressmaker, and I had a bit of a stressful moment at the start of the project. I like to trace all of my pattern pieces out first, just in case I need to alter anything or pick a different size. At least I have my main pattern intact. So I had traced everything off, cut out all of my pattern pieces, and I had a piece of fabric left that I thought to myself, this is just enough fabric for 2 short sleeves if I change my mind and want to add sleeves to the dress later on. Then I started constructing the dress, putting all the skirt pieces to the bodice pieces, and then I realized I was actually missing 2 skirt pieces. And then I started to panic because I knew I didn't have enough fabric. So the first thing I did was I went to go and trace out the pattern piece that I was missing, brought it back upstairs. And when I say upstairs, it's because I normally trace my pattern pieces downstairs in the living room because the window is bigger. Anyway, so once I was upstairs, I laid the skirt piece over the scrap fabric that I had left. And of course, it didn't fit. Never mind the 2 skirt pieces, the 1 skirt piece didn't fit. Because I knew I had no more left in my stash here in my room, I started looking in my stash to see what other colors that I could use to pair with my fabric. So the fabric I am using is a cotton poplin with a white background, and it's got pinky purpley flowers as well as yellow flowers and some green stems all over. So I was looking for not the green, but maybe the pinky purpley or yellow to go with the fabric. I was thinking though in the back of my mind, whatever fabric that I did pair with this, I probably was not going to like it and I wouldn't reach for the dress much. I do love patchwork. I love seeing it on other people. I love doing it myself, the patchwork, but there's something about me actually wearing it that I've realized I don't reach for those items in my wardrobe, and I'm not entirely sure why. Anyway, I did find some fabric, but it was a yellow fabric, the only fabric that I thought would be enough for the 2 skirt pieces, but I wasn't happy with that. So instead of settling for the yellow fabric, I decided to raid the whole house where I had any fabric stashed and check if I, by some miracle, had some of the same fabric lying there. So next to my washing machine, I have a bucket with a pile of fabric that is my to wash fabric. And I don't bring any fabric into my sewing room without having washed it first, because I just don't want all the chemicals and all the dust and everything from the fabric stores to be brought up here, which is where all the rooms, the kids and all of us sleep. So I like to keep the dirty stuff downstairs to pre-wash first. And it was in my fabric to wash pile that I saw that I had another length of fabric exactly the same as this one. I'm not sure why it was there, but it was enough for me to be able to cut out my 2 skirt pieces. So I could now go to bed in peace because this all happened between 9 and 10 at night. So I managed to go to sleep, and the next day I cut out all of the pattern pieces that was missing. So that fabric drama was a few days ago, and now I actually have most of the dress constructed. Last night I worked on pressing the button plackets in place and pinning them down ready to be stitched, and I also have sewn the shoulder seams and all of the side seams, and I actually tried on the dress last night. I'm so happy with the fit of the dress because for the first time in a really long time, or if ever, that I have not had to grade between sizes. I normally have to grade like something from a small to a medium to a small because my waist is a lot larger, but for the first time I've just done one complete size. I've lost quite a lot of weight recently, that even the skirts that I made a couple of weeks ago, my chicken fabric skirts and as well as my NH pattern Sarah skirt, those are are even now too big for me, where I have to remove about an inch or two of fabric from the waist seam. So I am very happy that I did not have to grade this dress and I fit into the one size. All I'm hoping now is that I actually remain in the size, because if I have to pick up just as much as 1 inch around my waist, this dress will no longer fit me. So hopefully I can maintain this. There's not much left to do on the dress now. I just have to stitch the button placket down, of course do the buttonholes, actually choose buttons still from my stash, and then add the collar, hem and the sleeves. That actually sounds like a lot more now that I've voiced that. But yeah, hopefully I will just finish that in the next few days, because this test needs to be handed in 5 days. Yesterday I knit for the first time in about 2 weeks, and that is because I finally chose a project that I want to work on next. I remember telling you a few weeks ago that I had a vision for my next project, which was making a sweater with a cream background and embroidering lazy daisies all over it in various colors like pinks, greens, oranges and so on. Because I don't have a cream colored yarn in my stash, I decided let's go for something else that I do have. So I picked out this blue colored yarn and I knit a couple of test swatches. So I wanted to make a sweater, of course, and I had a look at all of the patterns in my pattern stash library, and there was one that I was fixed on, which was the Ellie sweater by Rita Mathers that I actually tested for her last year. I made a version in black and rainbow yarn, which I actually haven't yet posted on my Instagram, so I need to get to that soon, but I'm deciding on making that same sweater. Now this yarn is a little bit thinner than the yarn that pattern calls for, so I made 2 swatches yesterday, not full swatches because I'm just slightly lazy to make a full swatch and then block. So I normally just knit half of a swatch and then go from there. So I had to recalculate based on my swatch how many stitches I would need for the intended size that the sweater is designed for. So this is an Aran yarn and I'm going to be using a 5mm size knitting needle, which is going to hopefully give me the outcome that I want if my tension doesn't change along the way. I don't know what color I'm going to embroider the flowers on yet, but for now I'm just going to be working on the main sweater, and when I get to the end I will see what other color yarns I have in my stash and work with that. So that's all that I have been working on this week. Other than that, the kids have been at home the whole week and it's been really nice just to have some time with them, going for some bicycle rides while us parents are actually walking. They are on bicycles. We've been to parks, we've been to see a few friends, and also watched a few movies at home because the weather has been a bit wet. While the kids were at school, it was nice and sunshine, and as soon as they're off we have a bit of wet weather. But again, I'm not going to complain about it. It has been nice fun anyway having them at home. Also over the weekend I went, I think, to my first car boot sale. Well, I don't remember ever having gone to a car boot sale, but it was really nice to go and see that one man's trash really can be another man's treasure, because what you don't find useful someone else might find useful. So this is also just me kind of saying, if there's something that you don't like, instead of just putting it in the bin, maybe give it to someone else, give it to charity, and someone else can give it a new use. Let me know if you plan to participate in Sew Blood Pressure 25 and what is that one item that you want to tick off this month during the month of June. That's it from me today. Bye for now.